Alt Rock Radio Now is recorded and produced at Music City Studio in Kelowna, BC. Music City Studio is a recording studio and rehearsal space that also hosts jam nights and runs workshops and courses. Visit musiccitystudio.ca for more details. Touring musicians welcome. Hello and welcome to another episode of Alt Rock Radio Now. My name is Vincent Jones and I'm your host, and I'm coming at you from beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. We're sat at Music City Studio. I shouldn't say I'm coming at you because I got two beautiful people joining me here in the studio. I've got Mike Pedersen to my left and Valaura Vedan just across from me here, so I'm very fortunate. Do you guys want to say hello?
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you. That was very sweet. I think we'll get into a song right away here. Episode 12's first song comes from Speak Low If You Speak Love, and it's the project of Ryan Graham, and he's got some damn good tunes. Believe me, check him out online. Think Dashboard Confessional, Ben Gibbard. If you like those acts, you're going to love his music. He's coming at you out of Michigan, and once again, this is Speak Low If You Speak Love, and the song is called Knots.
I've got knots in my hair and knots in my stomach, both thanks to you, but for very different reasons. I pretend not to care or act like I'm above it, but it's hard to face the truth when you know all my demons. But you're too far, and I'm far too jealous. You're too far, and I'm far too jealous. History repeats itself just like an old friend who tells the same story since we were kids. And I purposely chase the hearts I know I'll never win, but I've been down this road before. Don't wanna go back again. It's like pulling teeth to get inside of your head, 'cause you've invested time not to say what's on your mind. Now I'm pulling out every strand, and you can see every single vein on the back of my hand as I wait for you to tell me you love me. As I wait for you to tell me you love me, to tell me that history repeats itself just like an old friend who tells the same story since we were kids. And I reserve the right to change the ending this time. I reserve the right to change the ending this time. I reserve the right to change the ending. I reserve the right to change the ending. I reserve the right to change the ending. I reserve the right to change the ending.
So once again, that song was Knots, and it came from Speak Low If You Speak Love. I love that song, and like I say, check out the other stuff from Ryan online. You will enjoy it if you like that song. And just in case anyone's wondering out there, Ryan is looking for a label. I did see that online, so keep that in mind. Maybe there's a record producer out there who wants to snap Ryan up. So I know I would if I was connected with a label. Let's put it that way. Anyway, as you guys know, I like fun, silly, crazy music facts. Well, I like random trivia facts, in fact. But I've got some music-related ones for you this week. Why do you laugh?
Nothing. It's just your dorkiness.
Oh, okay.
Carry on.
You're just a big dork, Vince.
I know I am. I've been called worse, though. So anyway, I've got a few music-related facts that I want to share on this week's show. And they're sort of going to be scattered throughout. So I'm not going to give them all at once. I'm just going to, hold fire a little bit. But I have got one to share with you right away. And I pulled it up on a little thing called the internet. So you might have heard of it. I just did a Google search, for like random music trivia or whatever. And I pulled it from a place called factslides.com. I have no idea if this is legit. I haven't looked into it. I haven't done any digging. So if I say any supposed facts that aren't true, don't have a go at me. Have a go at the internet, moan at factslides.com. Anyway, our first fact is Leo Fender, inventor of the Telecaster, Stratocaster, could not play guitar. So
really?
Some rich irony there, hey?
How do you invent something that you don't know the mechanic? Like, it's like being a writer and writing about stuff you don't know. Okay.
I don't know much about him, but maybe he was just a woodworker. Somebody asked him to build a guitar. Yeah. Fell in love with guitars, kept building them.
Because you don't have to you don't have to know how to play guitar to know when it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
To know when like the tone is really good. Okay.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of like being a pen maker, but not being able to write.
Yeah, you can still test it.
You could scribble a line and see that, it writes nice, but you might not be able to write any words.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, just thought it was kind of ironic. But anyway, I think we'll get into another song here. Our next song this week comes from a very talented Welsh artist called Kizzy Crawford. And Kizzy's only 17, but she's got bags and bags of talent. She's based in Merthyr Tydfil, and she's a singer-songwriter that sings in both English and Welsh. And the song we're going to listen to today is called The Starling. And Kizzy's website tells us that the Starling is associated with the Welsh myth of Branwen, the Welsh princess who was mistreated by her... I'm getting my words mixed up. Mistreated by her Irish husband, and she trained a starling to take a message to her brother Bran in Wales to rescue her. So that's kind of the myth there. And the song, like I say, is called The Starling, and it comes from Kizzy Crawford.
Looking up and down, she looked lost and all alone, but moved on. Raised her wings to fly, but left footprints in the snow to call. It's not like I can't see you. You made that clear, but you're so weak. The morning sky is so dull and blue, and I'm clinging on too tightly. I taught her to speak Welsh message far away, too far. She taught me the nuances of autumn to be clear. We grew strong free at all. It's not like I can't see you. You make that clear, but you're so weak. The morning sky, so dull and blue, and I'm clinging on too tightly.
So that was Kizzy Crawford with The Starling. I love that song, I really do. She's got such a great voice. And the song comes off Kizzy's debut EP, which is called Temporary Zone. And it came out just in December of last year. So she's a really new artist. Check her out online and, listen to the rest of her stuff as well. Okay, ready for another random fact?
Okay.
Flowers that are exposed to music grow faster.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and like if you play music for plants, they like thrive more. Yeah, they'll be healthier plants.
Question is, does the type of music that's played...
I read something about this at one point.
Okay.
I can't remember what. I think they played like Mozart
Yeah.
in one, and then like, I don't know, some sort of death metal in
Yeah.
another, and I can't remember what the results were. But
Damn. I'd like to know those
we'll
results.
have to find that
I
out.
don't know. I mean, I would think that it probably has a similar reaction as it does on humans. It's a very different emotional connection with different types of music. So I would think it probably plays an impact.
Yeah, be
Who knows
interesting.
though?
Be interesting to know. Anyway, just another random fact that I found online, but it's stuff like that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I find anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I did read a study recently that said that putting kids in music lessons actually doesn't improve their IQ as was previously believed. But I don't know. I mean, it was only like a 6-week study, and that doesn't really give a child long enough to like form some lasting habits that transfer over into real life. So
For every study that says something's good, there's going to be another one that says it's bad. So it's
Yeah.
always hard to tell. But I don't think it's a bad thing to get your kid in music lessons.
no, for sure.
No, definitely not. And it's even if you take the IQ thing away, you've still got things like learning a musical instrument. It's good for self-esteem. It's dedication. It's showing that if you put effort in, you can develop a craft. So there's lots of other plus points too.
Mhm.
But anyway, I get what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about cassette tapes now.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think all of us around this table, not that any of us are that old, but I think we're all old enough. We were sort of in on the back end of the cassette sort of deal, right? Like CDs were just sort of becoming prevalent when we were, kids.
Mhm.
So I don't know about you guys, but there were occasions in my life where I tried to record something off the radio.
Mhm.
And you want to get the song perfect. You don't want any of the DJ in there. You don't want to hit
Yeah.
if the song's fading out a little bit at the end and the DJ comes back and he's like, so that was,
Yeah.
you don't want to catch any of that. You just want the full on song, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is, do you guys ever remember making like a little cassette tape yourself? And can you remember any of the details surrounding it?
I remember, I don't even know how old we would have been, probably 5 or 6 or something like that. Me and my cousin were doing a little radio show. And I think we were playing like AC/DC songs and stuff like that, which is pretty funny being that young and playing AC/DC. But I don't remember all the details of it. We were pretty young, and I just had like this small little cassette player with like this plastic microphone coming out of it, and that's what we'd make our little radio show on. And
Your setup here is a little bit more advanced.
a little bit, yeah. I guess that's where it all started. I never thought about that, but
Yeah, I didn't. I used to have like the same deal, like some kind of like Fisher Price, like with your own microphone, and I used to record myself singing all the time. But beyond that, I totally remember making like my own mixtapes, the like pirating music days, and nothing is more like the song isn't over. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop. It's not done. Those last 2 bars of music, I care about those.
Yeah,
Stop ruining them.
I think they sometimes do it in radio so they can cram in like more songs in a segment or whatever. But yeah, it is kind of
so they
irritating.
can cram in more advertisers.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
exactly.
That's true. Yes. that is what I was thinking, but I just didn't want to be quite so truthful. But yeah,
we do what we do the way we do it here. So but yeah, I also remember the irritation of trying to like, even when you're a kid in the cassette days, you wanted to listen to the same song over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is more, it's like second most irritating after the DJ thing is trying to like rewind and like figure out how many seconds back you need to go to get back to the beginning of that song without missing it and without catching too much of the song before that.
Yeah.
You're just like, rewind. Okay, stop, play.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not it. Rewind, stop, play. No, that's not it either. Yeah, I remember doing that too.
You spend so much time doing that. Back
Yeah.
and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you're trying to get to like a specific segment of a song. You're like, oh, I should have just gone back to the beginning. Like if it was at the beginning of the cassette or whatever. But anyway, yeah, you definitely don't want to catch any of the DJ in there. That does suck. I don't like it when they go back in before the song finishes. Let it play, yo. Let it play. The whole thing is a package.
Yeah.
But anyway, one thing I do want to say, we're going to come to your song in a second here, V. But I just want to say for anyone out there, we did have that little random fact about the plants or the flowers. So play alt rock radio now to your plants, you know, because they'll grow better. So we should
Maybe
maybe not.
If it has the opposite effect, we're in trouble.
You can't sue us though. Anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Nice.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be winning competitions, right? Biggest leak in town or biggest. You know, I don't know why that came to mind. but
Of all of the fruits and vegetables and plants, that's the one you went with, the leek.
yeah, I don't know why.
I grew some leeks last year.
See, there you go. Maybe that's why.
They were
Maybe
good.
that's why. Really?
Delicious. Yeah.
Were they big?
They were huge.
Yeah, you've got a track record about lying about these sort of things, though.
I got photos.
Okay, good.
Up for
Photos
it.
or it didn't happen. Anyway,
God.
maybe we should get into more music here. Eh?
Yeah, let's do that. So my track this week is from a band called Wolfcolony. The track is called Holy. It's basically a duo. It's a singer-songwriter who paired up with a producer to form Wolfcolony, and they operate out of New York and Los Angeles, so bi-coastal. So yeah, check it out.
Stop thinking about all of these feelings and all of these routes. I can't stop thinking about all of these feelings. Oh, I'm filled with doubts. Someone once told me I'm not the only one who's not holy. Someone once told me life's never easy. Everybody sends in their own way. I can't stop thinking about all of these feelings and all of these routes. I can't stop thinking about all of these feelings. Oh, I'm filled with doubts.
Once again, that was Wolfcolony with Holy.
Cool. Just going back to the cassette thing we were talking about there, I don't really have anything to add to the discussion, but I kind of realized that I didn't say anything. I asked you guys the question and didn't really pitch my own sort of, do I remember doing it? So I do remember, you know, the process of like recording a cassette and wanting it to sound like just like the song and not get any of the DJ in there, but I can't remember a specific example. I can't remember a song I don't remember doing like any radio shows like you guys, well, like Mike, or having a microphone set that I sang into. I do know that when I was a child though, I mean, I'm not really one for gender stereotypes anyway, and apparently this was true all my life, because I remember being a little boy and I wanted, you talked about Fisher Price. I would want the Fisher Price kitchen sets. So I wanted to have like a kitchen set so I could be making, you know, food and whatnot. So I got one of those one Christmas. Kudos to my parents, you know, for being like, yeah, of course you can have that, you know.
How did that work out for you, Vince? Are you a master chef now?
No. Well, you know what? I can make really great toast. And I'm being harsh on myself. I'm not that bad, but I don't really like cooking. I love eating. But cooking's not one of the things I thoroughly enjoy. But I can do like a few different dishes and I can follow a recipe pretty well. Like I'm not stupid. Well, but
it's always better when someone else cooks for you.
It is, you know, but I love eating out as well. I'm one of these people that if I had the money, like I'd eat out all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Because an experience, right? I mean, that's the thing, like eating out is sort of like, not only are you having the nice meal, but you don't have to clean up afterwards. There's no prep that goes into it. I just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm kind of a bit of a diva when it comes to my food these days. Like we're really, really lucky in that the city that we live in is home to some really, really fantastic food of all options. But I've become accustomed to like really, really good food. And now when I go to places that has like just average food, I notice it. And there's places that I used to go and absolutely love and think that they were amazing. And I just went to one of those places, like a spaghetti place, like last week. And I was thinking to myself, God, I used to think that this was amazing. And now it's just subpar.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, we had a similar experience. I won't name the restaurant, but they sort of, you know, their dishes are pretty high priced, and you know, some people might think it's very fine dining, but in comparison to some of the other things we have here, it was just like, it was kind of almost funny. You know what I mean? It's like, you think this was an amazing night out, but then you come, it's like, not so much.
Just shows you the power of perspective, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've sort of digressed from music to food, which is another one of my passions, but maybe we should get back to the music. We've got a song next up from an awesome trio of dudes. They're called The Lion, The Bear, The Fox. And I interviewed these guys for my Kelowna Now music column back in the fall when they visited Kelowna, and they're just a hoot. We had a great time chatting about a whole bunch of different things. They also make, well, they don't also make, they make wicked alt-folk rock tunes. So they're really awesome. Not only are they great guys, they've got some awesome music as well. And from The Lion, The Bear, The Fox, this is We'd Be Good Men.
If we knew what this sand was worth, we'd be kings, we'd be good men. So chorus us and scorch us and bring us back to your side. For I am not 100, For I am not a harbinger. No, I am just a scribe. Oh, you chorus eyes, and you score skies, and you bring us back to your side. No, I am not a harbinger. No, no, I am just a scribe. And if we knew what this sand was worth, we'd be kings. We'd be good men.
So once again, that song was from The Lion, the Bear, the Fox, and it was called We'd Be Good Men. These guys are going on tour. It's late Feb through to late March. They're going to be playing a bunch of dates in BC and Alberta, so click on over to the website for the details on that. And you'll find the site via their Facebook page, which you'll be able to find through our Facebook page. So that's kind of convoluted there, but let me explain. What we do after each episode is we post... when each episode comes out, we post on our social media, on our Facebook in particular, and we tag all the bands in there. So you just click on over to our Facebook, and you'll be able to click on over to the Lion, the Bear, the Foxes page as well. And from there, you'll get the links to their website. So we do that after each episode. So keep that in mind. That's where you can find the info on all the bands we have on the show. So if you miss any of them, you're like, oh, what did he say there? Just click on over to our Facebook page, and all the information will be there for you, and you can find the bands and buy the music and all that great stuff, and tell them where you heard of them. So keep that in mind. We're going to get into Mike's song in a second here, but you might remember if you listened last week, we did epic music stories or music-related stories. And it can sort of be anything. It just has to have a music link. It doesn't have to be the story of a concert. It can be a really tenuous link. It's just something that is really interesting or funny, that's kind of epic. So Mike has one. I think it might have been when he got beat up by a teenage girl at a Justin Bieber concert, or it might be another story.
We'll save that one for another. It was interesting. I had just moved to Kamloops. I think it was 2004, somewhere around there. I think I was 19. And we were going to a Sam Roberts concert. Sam Roberts at the time, I think, was sort of newish, and I remember driving to Kamloops and listening to the album the whole time and kind of being excited about moving to Kamloops and going to see this concert and stuff like that. So anyways, it was the night of, we went to it. There was an opening band. We were having some beers and stuff like that. And the way they were serving drinks is they had them all lined up on a huge table, and they were just trying to save time by filling all these beverages and just lining them up on the table, right? So you just pay for your beer and you grab one off the table kind of thing. So I start drinking this beer, and it tastes a little bit off, right? So to my buddy, I'm like, here, man, try this. Does this seem a little bit weird to you? And he took a drink. He's like, yeah, it's probably fine. It does taste a little bit strange, but whatever. So sure enough, you pay $7 for a beer at a concert or something like that. So drank the whole thing. And then not long after, I started feeling kind of dizzy and faint and stuff like that. And the opening band had just finished. It was kind of in between, right before Sam Roberts was going to come out, and they just dropped the house lights, and there was kind of like music in the background and stuff like that. And right as the lights kind of came down, I just felt like awful. And I sort of lost all control of my body. I didn't piss myself or anything like that. But I couldn't speak. I couldn't really move much or anything like that. And I remember being able to kind of hear everything and see everything, and I could tell that they were, they're going, Mike, what's wrong? Because I started to kind of lean forward and just kind of not knowing what was going on. So luckily my buddy that was there, he's a bigger guy. He was able to drag me outside. It was him and my girlfriend that were there, and just get me some fresh air. And I sort of started to come back a little bit. I never ended up passing out, but the only way to describe it is like kind of feeling, I don't know, this is a bad word to use, but just like retarded, like could not do anything really. And I was just being dragged around, and they sort of like had to take my arm and guide me and bring me outside. And then anyways, got fresh air, sort of started to come back to a little bit, but the rest of the night it just felt totally off. So whatever, somebody might have been throwing stuff into the beer that was lined up in there just for kicks. Like, I don't think anyone wanted to rape me. Maybe they did, but they they didn't get to do that. So I think they were just doing it as, you know, thought it'd be funny to throw something into all these drinks that were lined up. And the concert ended up being really good. Ended up sort of, you know, coming to enough to go to the front of the show and actually shook Sam Roberts' hand and stuff like that.
Nice. So you recovered?
I recovered, yeah.
Interesting.
And so it took a while to sort of come back. And the whole night, it was just like the strangest feeling ever.
Weird. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, it sounds like maybe something was dropped in your drink. Maybe you were roofied or something.
So that's
like
what
that.
what I figured. It was someone was roofing drinks
That's crazy.
for kicks. And
well, whether it's just someone who thought it would be funny to do it, or whether it's even more sinister than that, who knows? But maybe this is an opportunity for a little PSA, actually. If you're out at the bar, whether it's in Kamloops or wherever else you might be listening to this, keep an eye on your drinks.
Yeah, totally.
Keep an eye on your drinks, because you just never know, right?
That's my epic concert-related
That is
story.
pretty epic. And, you know, as an aside, you wouldn't expect to get so kind of crazy on drugs, not that you knew you were taking it at a Sam Roberts concert, really. You know,
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. It was bizarre.
Interesting.
And that sucks.
Yeah. It ended up being a really good concert. I do
Well, I
remember
mean, I guess
it
the
all
main
and
thing is that you remember it and that you enjoyed
had
yourself.
fun. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's good. It's not all lost.
No.
I kind of wonder if, and my memory's hazy going back on this, but I kind of wonder if I was roofied one time, and I'll sort of tell the hazy details around the incident that happened, but there's really not that much to tell aside from I'd been out, I'd been partying, and you know your own body, you know when you sleep a lot because you've had, too much to drink or you're hungover or whatever. But I remember I went to sleep, and I remember the last part of the night being basically completely gone. I couldn't remember it. But I shouldn't have been that drunk. I hadn't had that much to drink. And I know when I get blackout drunk, not that I do that all the time or anything, but when you get crazy drunk and you can't remember anything, you know why that is, and you know how much you've had to drink.
Right.
And you go, well, I had this and I had that, and you do like a mental kind of breakdown. You're like, okay, yeah, I guess I have had a lot. But on this occasion, I hadn't had that much to drink, and I just didn't really remember the end of the night. And then I slept for 11, 12 hours, the next day, which is really unusual. Even when I'm, super, super drunk, I don't sleep for that long. So I felt up, and I got up the next day and I felt really groggy. And so I was kind of like, I wonder if somebody put something in my drink. I didn't notice anything at the time. I didn't notice any funny taste or anything, but I just felt so different within myself that I was like, something must have happened, But anyway.
You never know. People do weird shit.
On that note, should we get to...
Sure. So the band that I chose for this week, I actually found through Facebook, and it was the guys from Wild Sun that put up a link to it. And they're a band out of Brandon, Manitoba called Slow Spirit. And they just put out, I think it's their very first EP. I honestly don't know a whole lot about them. But check them out. I like their sound, so I thought, great, we'll include them in the show, and it's cool that they're friends with the boys from Wild Sun. So the song I'm going to play is called Rain Cloud.
Lately I've been looking at myself in old photographs, trying to own that former self in case you looked at her and laughed at the merry thought of you and You don't see me, do you, with your eyes on some much higher prize? I'm just a rain cloud moving quickly over your starlit skies, passing fast over your heaven. Lately I've been
That song was Rain Cloud from Slow Spirit.
Awesome. I've got another random music fact for you guys.
I'm sure you
I know
do.
you're just so eager about these things and just can't wait to hear them. And I know that everybody out there listening is just the same. They're all bated breath right now, so don't hold your breath too long. But I think we touched on this a few weeks ago, a few episodes back when we were talking about Miley Cyrus and stuff. But Elvis didn't write any of his songs.
I knew that.
Such a talented singer and performer, though, but he
Mhm.
didn't write
Yep.
any of his songs.
Yeah, I knew that.
Sometimes it's just good to focus on what you're good at and leave the rest to someone else.
That's true. I
To
mean,
be fair, I don't really know that it's that Elvis wouldn't be capable of writing a good song. I think there's a lot of
mhm.
micromanagement of his career. I mean, okay, so I'm kind of a massive Elvis fan, but I've always felt that he could have been a really great actor, except for that he wasn't given the opportunity because all of his movies were built just to be commercials, really. They're just driven to make money, so there wasn't really an opportunity to do any proper acting when you need to make like your 8th Army in Hawaii movie.
Yeah, the colonel kind of laying down the law and
Yeah.
dictating how things had to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I was reading something just recently that was saying that he, more than anything, wanted to be an actor, which I thought was interesting.
He did. He'd always desired to be an actor, and he was really, really excited when he got the opportunity to do Love Me Tender, which, if I'm not mistaken, was never actually supposed to be the title of the movie. But then when they put the song together for the movie, then they changed the title. Because I'm pretty sure Elvis doesn't even star in Love Me Tender, which is the first movie that he did. He is a co-star. He was secondary, supporting actor. So
Like an Elvis encyclopedia over there.
Yeah.
I like me some Elvis. Whatever.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's interesting though that, he had such a talent for singing, yet it perhaps wasn't his major passion,
Mm-hmm.
But someone like that, I think, was always destined to be a singer, at least in some capacity. I mean, even if acting was his main facet, I think he'd always, with that voice, have done some singing somewhere,
Yeah.
I think it's like Frank Sinatra, and my details are hazy on this, but I'm sure that his father didn't want him to be a singer.
I don't know.
He thought it was sort of
Mhm.
a sissy thing to be, we should go into a more manly, and I've got,
Mm-hmm.
my air quotes around that, more manly profession. But, someone with a voice like Frank Sinatra, how can they
Yeah.
not be a singer? How can they be anything else,
Right.
I always
Really,
think it's really interesting these days that back in the day, like 40, 50 years ago, it was perfectly normal for somebody to be a singer, dancer, actor. And that was completely acceptable, and nobody thought that you were trying to cross over or do something that you weren't supposed to be doing. And I quite often wonder, I mean, obviously we know that there are a lot of actresses and actors who have really incredible singing voices, but unless they're on Broadway, it's kind of, once you reach the upper echelon, if you're a singer and you want to do acting, you're kind of like, oh, but you're not a real actress, and vice versa. And I always think that that's really interesting. I kind of wonder when that shift happened and it became frowned upon to try and do both, no matter whether you're talented enough to do both or not.
Yeah. Maybe you'll have to do a study of that.
Yes.
All right, our penultimate song this week comes from Anadel. Anadel is an atmospheric folk trio from Napa, California, and they've got a neat little song called In the Water. Here it is.
You hold your every breath. Life is for the living in the water. Oh, you feel that you should run, but where are you to hide in the water? Oh, against the tide we struggle, the skin we're in. Against the tide we struggle to keep our heads above the deep and our hearts above the light, above the light. We vow your life and blood. This is not our home in the water. Oh, yeah, our hope here's never found try and keep your way in the water. Oh, and against the tide we struggle for skin we're in, skin we're in. Against the tide we struggle to keep our heads above the deep, and our hearts above the light, above the light. And who we are today can never make amends for what we've done. Tainted blood. And his eyes are full of love. Forgive them, release them. Against the tide we struggle, the skin we're in, the skin we're in. Against the tide we struggle to keep our heads above the deep, and our hearts above the light, above the light.
So once again, that was Anadel with their song In the Water. That song was also remixed and used for Telltale Games' The Walking Dead Season 2. So interesting little tidbit for you there. And I think that's a video game. But lots of video games out there have really, really neat soundtracks.
Right.
I'm always impressed. I love FIFA, and the soundtracks they have on FIFA are pretty incredible sometimes. They have some great tunes on there. Whoever does that has an awesome job.
Yeah, totally.
And two does a great job of it. So
Nice.
it's that time of year when festival lineups have been announced. As you guys will know, I'm sure you've seen them buzzing around on there, being the music fans that you are. And one of the big ones recently for us, like locally to us here in Kelowna, is the Squamish Festival in the Lower Mainland here in BC. And Eminem has been announced that he's going to be one of the headliners at this year's festival, which was pretty interesting. I think it's a long time since he's been to Canada, I think. Even
Seems like it. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of, he hasn't been in Canada for like ages, like years and years and years and years. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was like a government thing or whether it's just a decision. But yeah, it's been a long time. So I know there are a lot of people who are really, really excited about that, no matter what genre they generally tend to associate themselves with.
Yeah, I'd be stoked to see that.
Yeah, likewise.
We've already got a festival lined up this year. Well, we've got more than one probably. I'm sure we'll be going to Kelowna here in Kelowna again this year because that's such a rad festival. But also Bumper Shoot in Seattle, which is a great festival. Me and V are going to. That was a Christmas gift from my parents, which was awesome. That was actually one we could have had on the awesome Christmas gift special that we had when we talked about music-related Christmas gifts. We could have talked about that, but I didn't know at the time. I don't think. Anyway, I don't think we'd. Anyway, so we're going there, but the lineup for that's not been announced yet. So we're sort of checking regularly to see who's going to be coming. But it'll be a great lineup, whoever's going. We've got fingers crossed for a few different acts, of course. But what I'm wondering, is there any particular festivals that you guys are stoked about that you'd really like to go to someday that you've not yet been to? I can start if you want, actually. Yeah,
go ahead.
Obviously, Glastonbury is a huge one in the UK. Reading and Leeds are two other big ones as well. So I think those, and then Sasquatch is a big one as well. Here in North America.
Yeah.
There are a couple of others as well who I'm sort of drawing a blank on now. So maybe I'll leave the floor open to you guys to pitch them. But those are four right there that I'd be stoked to go to, and Bumper Shoot as well, and Kelowna. But then they're not really iconic festivals, I don't think, but they're still good.
Yeah.
To be honest, if I'm going to be buying concert tickets, I like to just go and see one band. There's something about, it depends on the festival and how long the headliner actually plays. But in my experience, it's almost like a tease. Like if the headliner's up there for 45 minutes to an hour, it just seems to go by so quick. Or I'd rather go to a full concert and see a band play it for 2 to 3 hours, you know what I mean? And sort of just be kind of lost in that. And I find it's just too quick going from stage to stage, and it's just kind of over in a blink of an eye. So I prefer to go and see a concert that's just focused on one band.
Interesting.
Yeah. I would say that I'm kind of in between both of you guys. I really like festivals, but so much of a festival for me is really dependent on the people who are there. That's the actual festival goers, not the bands.
Like the vibe.
Yeah. So as much as I think that the lineups at things like Coachella are ridiculous, and then you're like picking and choosing. It's like picking a favorite child. Like, how do you do that when you've got some bands that are like going up against each other at the same time? How do you do that?
Yeah.
But then I kind of see the videos of some of the people who are going to Coachella, and it just ends up being like this massive drunken fashion parade, and you're kind of like, are any of you here to actually enjoy the music? Not like a hipster, oh my god, I love X band so much, but like you actually give a shit. That to me is really important. So for me, I'd almost rather go to a smaller festival that has a less impressive lineup and a better vibe and something that's like more relaxed and chill and that you can actually enjoy,
I would agree,
than go to the massive festival with a great lineup and just want to punch festival goers in the face like every 3 seconds because they're obnoxious and they keep getting in your way and pushing you over.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make. And Coachella was one of the ones I was trying to think of when
I knew it would
I was
be.
scanning through my brain. But I've not had much sleep the last few days, so the brain wasn't pulling it up quite as easily as it should have. But I get what you're saying, and I agree with Mike to an extent. I mean, being in the focused attention of one band and that intimate experience, or maybe two, at a show. But then at the same time, I do love festivals, but the vibe is important. I totally agree. But I like being able to see, a range of different acts and, all being in one space. And I just love the party and, going for 2 or 3 days. But I get what you're saying as well about, maybe the smaller ones with maybe the lineup's not quite as impressive. They still have some good acts, but the vibe's better. I do think that's important.
Yeah.
And I don't, at the same time, I've never been to a huge festival. I think Bumpershoot will be the biggest when we go later this year. And I think I said earlier that I don't think that's an iconic one. And I think it is a pretty long established festival though. I think it's been around for like 40 years. So maybe it's more iconic than I realized.
I think it's more a case of the venues and the fact that it's like, I think it's really difficult to get a really, really massive festival going when you don't have things like overnight camping. That's huge. And Bumbershoot takes place like in downtown Seattle at various venues and parks and squares and stuff. So it would be impossible for them to have like an overnight camping all weekend party type thing, which I think is discouraging for some people. But I was going to say too, about the seeing bands in concert, there's also something really special about the fact that the fans are really focused on the band that's there. It's not like a bunch of stragglers who are going to see X band because their buddy told them that they probably should because they would be dumb not to. Like they actually, there's a community in going to see a live show with other fans. You are all connected by this one band, and that's really special, and you can't replicate that at a festival.
Totally. Well, I've got a couple more facts just to bust through before we get to our last song of this week's episode, so bear with me. And again, I got these online, so if any of them are wrong, address your complaints to the internet. Not to me, not to us. Allegedly, none of the Beatles could read music. So I feel like I knew that about Paul McCartney, but I didn't know that was true for the whole band, which is pretty incredible if it's true.
I think it is. It's surprising though, for sure. We should check that one and see if it's...
Yeah.
But
in fact, if anybody out there hears any of these facts and is like, what the hell? Even though I said don't complain to us, if you want to engage in a conversation with us, like,
let us know.
Totally feel free. Like, I'm just joking around. Like, let us know if these facts aren't true. And if you're like,
my Elvis encyclopedic knowledge is completely wrong. It's possible.
Or if you're a full-on Beatles aficionado and you're like, that's not true, John Lennon could read music, let us know. We'd be interested to know that. And so look us up on social media. And also the last fact I have for you, I know, sad. Your heartbeat changes and mimics the music you listen to. So that's interesting because, if you listen to like fast music when you're driving, you tend to drive a little faster and your heartbeat's going a little faster
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
I guess, which is
Cool.
But I didn't know that actually happened.
Cool.
Guess it explains why relaxing music is relaxing.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to get really bad road rage, and my anti-road rage music was Michael Bublé.
There you go. That would probably help.
Because I couldn't listen. I mean, Incubus is my favorite band, but if I was angry, I couldn't listen to Incubus while I was driving because it would make me more aggressive, which isn't good for anybody.
You know what though? It's great for getting where you want to go.
Well, there's that, I guess.
All right, our final song this week comes from indie rock singer-songwriter Dave Thomas Jr. Dave put out a record called The Lucky Ones back in December of last year, and we're going to end with a cracking track from it. It's called Lost at Sea.
Turn the other way, look around. Something big's about to happen. I swear to God that I've been here before, and you were here, I guess it's nothing. Guess I do know the truth after all. Guess I do know the truth after all. Stay the current course. No matter what, don't change for anyone.
So once again, that was Dave Thomas Jr. with his song Lost at Sea. All right, so that's it for episode 12 of Alt Rock Radio Now. Thanks so much for listening in. We really do appreciate it. And please spread the word about the show. Help us, get the word out there, because it helps the bands and, gets more ears to their music and all that good stuff. And if you have any submissions, recommendations, anyone you think we should have on the show, please send them our way. We'd love to hear them. And, for the people out there that have tweeted about us, have said nice things, believe it or not, we really do appreciate it. It means so much to us. We're always stoked to see things like that. Mm-hmm. But, this really is all about the music. So make sure you check out the bands and come back next week for episode 13, where we'll have more fun banter and music coming your way. And, goodbye for now.
Alt Rock Radio Now is brought to you in part by Czek Creative. Czek Creative is a Kelowna-based digital agency that delivers results across Canada. Learn more at czekcreative.com. That's CSEK creative.com.